Good evening. Welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm Clive Myrie. Now, just to be on the safe side after what happened at the Oscars, I've cut all the jokes about Ian's wife.
And I'm going to repeat the ones about Rishi Sunak's wife.
In the news this week, despite his regime change remarks pushing the world closer to Armageddon, White House officials insist that Joe Biden can still be trusted to lead the West forward. Interior designer Lulu Little decides she's waited long enough for her book of swatch samples to be returned. And on the outskirts of Kharkiv, as a Russian military convoy prepares to advance, the Ukrainian Highways Agency finds an effective new way to signal its disapproval. On Ian's team tonight is a journalist who once wrote an article called "What Happens When a Joke is Followed by Silence?" As Chris Rock can testify, it's not the worst thing that can happen. Please welcome Helen Lewis. And on Paul's team tonight is a comedian and fan of Chelsea Football Club who for years has wanted to shake Roman Abramovich's hand. That's fine, but I wouldn't touch his door handle right now. Please welcome Andy Hamilton. Now we begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Ian and Helen, have a look at this.
Well, there's Vladimir Putin, a man who trusts all his advisors.
Anyone for chocolate biscuit? Oh, God.
There's a principal politician. And, yeah.
No fry zone.
There's
nowhere to go after that.
This is, of course, the war in Ukraine, which appears to be entering a new phase after negotiations between the Russians and
How would
Ukrainians.
you know?
It's a yes. How would I know? Good question, good question. I mean, how did the head of the Russian negotiations team explain the withdrawal of forces from around Kyiv?
It's a new phase of the war. It's called defeat.
Yeah, he said Russia was reducing its combat operations to build trust. I'm sure that's worked well. OK, who was involved in the negotiations then?
Roman Abramovich, the former-ish owner of Chelsea, except he got poisoned in a way that sounded quite suspicious. So him and a couple of Ukrainian MPs woke up the next day with temporary loss of vision and peeling skin, which, as far as I know, happens to about 100,000 British holidaymakers every year.
So who asked him to be part of the negotiation?
Well, it is quite confusing because, I mean, about 2 weeks ago, he was someone who'd never met Putin, didn't like him, had no contact with him. Yesterday, he's the chief negotiator, is he? It does suggest that he might have been a bit of an oligarch all along, as opposed to a gracious benefactor of the noble game.
I knew this was going to happen. You know, every time I come on the show, all Ian wants to talk about is football, football, football.
Well, going back to Helen, because you were absolutely right. According to the investigative website Bellingcat, he was poisoned, Mr. Abramovich. Both Ukraine and Russia actually deny the poisoning story, although according to the staff of future negotiations, they've been warned not to eat or drink anything and to stay away from hobnobs. Or as the BBC has asked us to pronounce it, hyob-nyobs. Hyob-nyobs. Oh, and in another story, did you hear how a woman in a block of flats is reported to have brought down a Russian drone? What did she use?
Knitting.
You're not a million miles off, mate.
Oh, no, you're
a washing line.
A jar of pickled cucumbers. It's true.
How is that not a million miles away from knitting?
Sort of domestic. You know.
How did she bring it down?
She chucked it at it.
Oh, really?
Just a jar, not cucumber by cucumber.
No, it was a jar. It was a jar. It was a big jar. It was a drone.
You see, that's the last thing Putin would have been expecting.
Yeah, exactly.
Why did a Basildon man try to remove all the bottles of Russian standard vodka from the shelves of his local Sainsbury's?
He was going to a party in Downing Street.
Not quite. Not quite. He claimed he was doing it to help the Ukrainians by limiting the sale of Russian vodka, although the staff did explain that our Russian standard vodka is made and bottled entirely in the UK. The good news is that the world is still intact.
Sure.
We're all still here.
Well, you don't know, there's the repeat to think about.
Well,
If the globe is wiped out via a nuclear holocaust, won't you look silly?
Boris Johnson has been accused of sailing a bit close to the wind in his eagerness to arm the Ukrainians. Did you see this?
So strengthening the quills of the Ukrainian porcupine as to make it in future indigestible to the Russian invaders.
Yeah. Newsnight's Nick Watt did not know what to say. Would you like to see our Prime Minister displaying his magnetism with some other world leaders?
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
Here he is.
That's Britain declaring a no-mate zone.
Which of Boris's acquaintances have embarrassed him recently?
Evgeny Lebedev.
That's right.
Who was given a peerage very soon after Boris Johnson took over, and now the House of Lords committee said maybe he shouldn't have done. The security services were worried about him.
Yeah. Lord Lebedev, the son of a KGB oligarch and owner of various newspapers, Boris Johnson denies getting involved in security discussions over Lebedev's elevation to the House of Lords.
The suggestion was that Lebedev was a security risk, you know, and that's why he shouldn't be a peer. But I can think of a lot of other reasons he shouldn't be a peer. I mean, he just supported Boris. He owned newspapers and supported him in the mayoral election, which looks like corruption. Isn't, obviously.
The thing I like about Lebedev is he sounds like a conversation between Bill and Ben, the flower pot.
Yeah.
He originally wanted his title to be Lord Lebedev of Moscow.
I'd have gone for Lord Lebedev of Levered. I mean, if you're going to start with a silly name, see it all the way through.
How has the leader of the opposition responded to all this about Lebedev?
Lebedev.
Well, he sent an embarrassing message of congratulations.
The problem now, I suspect, is that he's demanding an inquiry into the handling of all of this, and he sent a stern message to Lebedev after he was appointed to the Lords saying, congratulations on your elevation.
That doesn't say peerage. Maybe it's saw some architect's drawings or something. You know, it could be anything, couldn't it?
Well, Lebedev is well known for his lavish parties, to which he has invited the great and the good.
I believe there is a rumour that once the glamour model Jordan, properly known as Katie Price, attended one, sat next to Boris Johnson and did what is her career-defining trick of getting her breasts out.
Get your tits out for the Vlads.
I'm not surprised you should say that, because Katie Price has form when it comes to embarrassing respected members of the establishment.
The amazing thing about her
makes
photograph
sense.
is how it's made Ian's tie horizontal, what she's doing.
This is the shocking news that continues to come out of Ukraine. Vladimir Putin immediately regrets telling unfriendly countries they'll have to pay for their gas in rubles after Martin Lewis gets everyone to send Putin a meter reading at the same time. Because of Lord Lebedev's family links with the KGB, some are concerned that he might be a sleeper agent. That's right, some lords have been asleep for the last 3 years.
Is it just me, or given how grim all the news has been in that first section, are you starting to feel like the five of us are like the support act that went on just before the band on the Titanic? Like relentlessly grim.
No, I was just thinking there should be a musical Like Mary Poppins singing Lord Lebedev, Lord Lebedev, Lebedev. Lord Lebedev.
Have you been affected badly by the lockdown?
Yeah.
Good.
Paul and Andy,
Yeah.
take a look at this.
Yes. Is a happy man filling up his petrol with his car with petrol.
He's been heckled. Oh my God!
Human game
Michael
of
Gove
chess.
put on weight.
I'm never going to be able to unsee that. Boris answering to the police, that's a first.
Yeah.
Can we see that again?
No,
Because
no.
that is...
No,
Seriously.
I've started and I have finished.
That is not dancing, is it? That's like something you'd see on a David Attenborough programme.
What does the lightsaber signify?
Yeah, that's a good
I don't
question.
know.
We've all been wondering that.
I think it's a cattle prod to keep him 5 feet away.
It's Boris announcing, I am your father, everyone. What I like about the police report is, were there any parties at number 10? If only there was a policeman outside number 10 who could have seen what was going on. Well, how long does it
Excuse me,
take
sir,
to
would
ask
you
him?
mind telling me why your suitcase is rattling?
What was Boris Johnson doing on the day the Metropolitan Police issued the first batch of fines for illegal Downing Street parties?
What was he doing?
He was having a party. More than 100 Conservatives were invited to the Park Plaza Hotel in Westminster for a knees-up. Number 10 said it was the first time since the 2019 general election that the PM had been able to invite his MPs to a social event because of COVID restrictions. So he told Parliament there were no parties and no rules were broken. So has he misled Parliament?
Yes, he has. Next.
Many MPs feel now is not the time for a change of Prime Minister. So that's disappointing for those thought to have been positioning themselves for a leadership biz.
That's power. She's trying to communicate power. And she's standing in front of the Ukrainian flag, so she's trying to imply that she has shot down a drone with some cucumbers.
And that is a disgrace.
Meanwhile, what's going on here? We've talked about that. Chancellor Rishi Sunak showing that he knows how to fill a car with petrol. But what later emerged?
It wasn't his car.
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly. It wasn't his car. He'd borrowed it from a Sainsbury's employee. Even more embarrassing, it was electric. All right, we're going to move on because I think we should have a quick game of bastard, bully, bore or buffoon. Just to break the ice. Fingers on buzzers. Right, here's the first one. Bastard, bully, bore or buffoon.
Buffoon.
Oh, and bastard.
Buffoon and bastard.
Yeah.
The double B.
That's 2 points, because that's Peter Hebblethwaite, who is the chief exec of P&O.
Yeah. Yep.
And he appeared before Parliament and he said that, yes, he had broken the law, but his defence was that he thought he'd get away with it.
Yeah. And also...
He should be in government, really.
Yeah, exactly. And also, he's got a personal problem because he's radioactive.
This is the boss of P&O Ferries, Peter Hebblethwaite, who has admitted that P&O broke employment law by firing 800 workers over Zoom. So what reason did Mr. Hebblethwaite give for not consulting the unions before sacking their employees?
He didn't want to.
Yeah, he said there's absolutely no doubt that we were required to consult with the unions, but we chose not to do so because no union would have accepted it. So what happened when the Conservative MP for Dover, Natalie Elphicke, who herself voted in favour of firing and rehiring, went to join the protest against the sackings?
They started chanting at her, didn't they?
Yeah, well, we can have a look and just guess if you can spot the moment she realised she was leading the chants against herself.
Oh. Oh, dear.
And finally, bastard, bully, bore or buffoon.
All of the above. That is Gavin Williamson, who received a peerage for being the worst
No, knighthood.
Oh, worse, a knighthood.
No.
Less bad.
I mean, he's not a Russian oligarch, for God's sake.
Yes. How did number 10 try to justify the knighthood?
Did they even try and justify it?
I think you might be right there. They said it is very hard to justify. But that was off the record. This is the news that the Metropolitan Police have issued the first wave of fines over the Downing Street parties. One senior police officer told The Times that the Met were wrong for not revealing the names of senior policymakers who broke the COVID rules, adding, "We are not talking about Mrs. Miggins of Acacia Avenue." To which Mr. Miggins replied, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth." Some Tory MPs are still saying the party investigation is a waste of police resources and the Met needs to get back to what it does best, WhatsApping racist and sexist abuse to each other.
Have you given up the news reading then, Clive?
The former Education Minister Gavin Williamson has been awarded a knighthood. This brings the whole honours system into disrepute, said Lord Lebedebedev.
Satire.
Yeah.
After delivering his spring statement, Rishi Sunak was pictured filling up a car with petrol. The press instantly twigged that it wasn't Sunak's car, as the driver's side had no booster seat. And so to round 2, the picture spin quiz. Fingers on the buzzers, teams.
The whalers are reforming. Son of the Prince of Wales, doesn't matter. Let it go. Just let it go.
There's the Caribbean tour of William and Kate, which had a lot of protests and was rather awkward.
There were a number of photo ops that led critics to describe the couple as tone deaf. What were they?
There was one which was meant to be a tribute to the Queen, which is they posed in a Range Rover, looking like something out of a 1950s film.
There they are.
But I think people thought maybe they should have done something a bit more modern. Turned up in an Uber.
I mean, we mentioned... I mean, William and Kate, they were also at Prince Philip's memorial on Tuesday. Prince Andrew, who was allowed to leave the naughty step in order to walk the Queen down the aisle in his first public outing since he paid off Virginia Giuffre with £12 million.
They finally found a use for Andrew. No one knew what to do with him, and he's now officially a walking stick.
Here's the stick.
Oh,
there he is. I mean...
I think it's very wrong to compare Prince Andrew to a walking stick. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Well, a walking stick is strong, straight and dependable. I mean...
Was it a well-judged move, do you think, putting Andrew centre stage?
Now, she might be saying, listen, Andy, it's all gone in the past. You come along a minute, you know what I mean? You come along, I'll have the walking stick, don't really need it. You be the other side, we'll be all right. Sweet as a couple of peas in a pod.
This is what could be the last ever royal tour of the Caribbean. The tour was dogged by non-stop controversy, making it the most misjudged royal trip to a Caribbean island since Prince Andrew last visited Jeffrey Epstein. Wills and Kate attended a memorial to Prince Philip just days after returning from a controversial, gaff-laden tour of the Caribbean. Well, it's what he would have wanted. Fingers on the buzzers, teams. Ian.
There was a story in the paper about people don't like Shakespeare when it's delivered in a Yorkshire accent.
Yeah. One theatre-goer was furious that the production by the Northern Broadsides Theatre Company, based in Halifax, in West Yorkshire, featured actors with Yorkshire accents.
This is a national story about one person in a theatre not liking a production.
Yeah.
Blimey, I must write in more often.
I saw a production of Othello once, Lenny Henry as Othello, that was played by a Yorkshire theatre group, and it was all Yorkshire accents. It was brilliant.
And he spoke with a Midland accent anyway.
To be or not to be?
Oh.
That's the question.
Would it not be noble in the morning, just sort of slings and arrows of outrageous fortune?
Dear. Finally, why did one disgruntled couple in Hull want a refund for a comedy show that they were due to attend?
Well, this is one couple not liking a comedy show. Bloody hell.
One couple.
Don't get any ideas.
Yeah. They wanted a refund for their tickets to the show due to take place in Blackpool.
Yeah.
Because of the events in Russia and Ukraine, making it unsafe to travel.
Well, what route were they taking?
The long way round.
Yeah. We can save 50 quid if we go via St. Petersburg.
This is the theatre goer who complained about Shakespeare's As You Like It being performed in Yorkshire by a Yorkshire company with Yorkshire accents. To be fair, being staged in Yorkshire, the rest of the audience demanded their money back, and they loved it.
Oh, blimey. I'm on tour this week. I'm in Leeds this week, and I'm in Halifax, so I've just nothing to do with me, that joke.
You're in trouble, man. You're in trouble. A couple from Hull tried to claim a refund from a comedy club in Blackpool because the war in Ukraine made them too scared to travel. The club manager said, as far as we're aware, Russia hasn't invaded Hull yet. Yes, it is difficult to tell. Time now for the odd one out round. Just one between you this week. Your four are the Spinning Studio in the Houses of Parliament, the Duke of York Stakes horse race, midget gems, and 10,600 items of Platinum Jubilee commemorative china.
Well, I'm going to start from the fact that they are renaming what I can only say was called something like the John Bercow Memorial Rowing Machine in the House of Commons after he was found guilty of bullying several employees at the House of Commons, right? Mm-hmm. I'm presuming that the Duke of York Stakes is now renamed the £12 million payout for fraternising with the sex offender stakes.
No, it's now called the Pizza Express Challenge. This china has got a misprint on it. Instead of saying the Queen's Jubilee, it says the Queen's Jubbly.
Referring to how she speaks earlier on, is inside knowledge. A little bit of jubbly, little bit of this, little bit of that.
And I'm presuming that midget gems, after heavy lobbying by Rishi Sunak, are going to be renamed.
Yeah, they've all changed their name, apart
from the Jubbly, which was a mistake.
Exactly. The Platinum Jubilee crockery, which hasn't changed, despite a spelling error. This is what it is. Marks and Spencers have recently decided to change the name of midget gems, as the term is now regarded as offensive. They're going to be known as mini gem. According to an M&S spokesperson, the new mini gems are being rolled out to stores. Fair enough, with the price of diesel, that's probably the best way to get them. In 2015, the Cycle Studio in the House of Commons gym was named after John Bercow, but following the bullying report, the plaque dedicated to him has been removed. It said, John Bercow's behaviour fell below standards the public expect from politicians.
Blimey.
What sort of behaviour was it then?
He shouted at people.
Yeah.
And I think he pretty much made people cry. He made people want to resign, leave their jobs. I mean, I think it was very unpleasant to work for.
He was accused of calling a colleague fucking stupid.
Which colleague? And then we...
They've all changed their name, apart from 10,000 pieces of royal memorabilia, which have been made with a spelling mistake, celebrating the Platinum Jubilee. Marks and Spencer have renamed midget gems mini gems after complaints that the term midget was offensive. In a statement, Marks and Spencer said they were committed to being an inclusive retailer, adding that their products are aimed at all members of society, except poor people, of course. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication, Chalk Dust, the magazine for people who love maths. And we start with David Cameron finds what in his what?
Is it margarine in his underpants?
David Cameron finds a set of handcuffs in his hotel room.
Really? The police are actually onto it?
In an article about his recent trip to Poland, David Cameron described finding a pair of handcuffs in his hotel room in Eindhoven. Next, mathematical equation proves that cows what?
Can be divided by pi.
Oh.
Pi day.
Mathematical equation proves that cows have a maximum size. This is from the Chalk Dust magazine's diary column. Sorry, dairy column. Next, Royal Horticultural Society will finally email instead of what?
Oh, it's snail mail.
Not quite. Communicate electronically. This was actually announced by the RHS president, Keith Weed. Every year they try to get rid of him, but he just keeps coming. Next, what no longer considered too rude for what?
Vulgar fractions no longer considered too rude for mathematicians.
Yeah.
It was a good joke. I know it confuses people when I say something clever, but you've got to live with it.
Charles Dickens no longer considered too rude for TikTok. It's outrageous that the name Dickens was banned by TikTok for being too rude, said the head of the Charles Dickens Museum, Willie Coxblotch.
What is going on? It's amazing to see somebody's reputation sink.
Dear BBC, I was appalled to see the voice of the nation talking about someone called Willie Coxblotch.
Yours sincerely, Mrs. Willie Coxblotch.
The final scores are Ian and Helen have 7 points, and Paul and Andy, you've got 6.
Hey, it's a win.
But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
Why do you keep coming?
It's the Queen saying, I gather you haven't got very long.
What a fag.
On which note we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Helen Lewis, Paul Merton and Andy Hamilton. And I leave you with the news that after their catastrophic tour of the Caribbean, William and Kate have a marginally more pleasant experience during a visit to a sewage plant in Rotherham. There's excitement among Tudor historians as they discover the location of Elizabeth I's secret minibar. And at Westminster Abbey, tempers rise in a heated discussion about who has to sit next to Andrew. Good night.
Was it Jonah Louis who did that song?
Stop the Cavalry.
That's what I was thinking of.
That's right.
It's bugging me the whole programme.
Year's last breath, we sparkle bright. Lights in the sky take flight tonight. Dreams ignite like neon glow. In this rhythm, let's let go. Bang, bang, the night ignites. Fireworks skies, oh what a sight. Toast to night, toast to dreams. Glow with hope like laser beams. Countdown echo, hearts collide. Midnight whispers, time to ride. Champagne kisses bold and free. Raise your glass, stay wild with me. Bang, bang, the night ignites. Fireworks skies, oh what a sight. Toast to now, toast to dreams. Glow with hope like laser beams.
mini gems after complaints that the term midget was offensive. In a statement, Marks & Spencer said they were committed to being an inclusive retailer, adding that their products are aimed at all members of society, except poor people, of course. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication, Chalk Dust, the magazine for people who love maths. And we start with David Cameron finds what in his what?
Is it margarine in his underpants?
David Cameron finds a set of handcuffs in his hotel room.
Really? The police are actually onto it?
In an article about his recent trip to Poland, David Cameron described finding a pair of handcuffs in his hotel room in Eindhoven. Next, mathematical equation proves that cows what?
Can be divided by pi.
Oh.
Pi day.
Mathematical equation proves that cows have a maximum size. This is from the Chalk Dust magazine's diary column. Sorry, dairy column. Next, Royal Horticultural Society will finally email instead of what?
Oh, it's snail mail.
Not quite. Communicate electronically. This was actually announced by the RHS president, Keith Weed. Every year they try to get rid of him, but he just keeps coming. Next, what no longer considered too rude for what?
Vulgar fractions no longer considered too rude for mathematicians.
Yeah.
It was a good joke. I know it confuses people when I say something clever, but you've got to live with it.
Charles Dickens no longer considered too rude for TikTok. It's outrageous that the name Dickens was banned by TikTok for being too rude, said the head of the Charles Dickens Museum, Willie Coxblotch.
What is going on? Amazing to see somebody's reputation sink.
Dear BBC, I was appalled to see the voice of the nation talking about someone called Willie Coxblotch.
Yours sincerely, Mrs. Willie Coxblotch.
The final scores are Ian and Helen have 7 points, and Paul and Andy, you've got 6.
Hey, it's a win.
But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
Why do you keep coming?
It's the Queen saying, I gather you haven't got very long.
What a fag.
On which note we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Helen Lewis, Paul Merton and Andy Hamilton. And I leave you with the news that after their catastrophic tour of the Caribbean, William and Kate have a marginally more pleasant experience during a visit to a sewage plant in Rotherham. There's excitement among Tudor historians as they discover the location of Elizabeth I's secret minibar. And at Westminster Abbey, tempers rise in a heated discussion about who has to sit next to Andrew. Good night.
Was it Jonah Louis who did that song?
Stop the Cavalry.
That's what I was thinking of. It's bugging me the whole programme.